Hello, hello. I hope everyone's enjoying the mid-season madness so far, and is more importantly excited for the beta that's dropping tomorrow. And although Sojourn's not the newest hero, she still is very new, and especially for the Overwatch League, as she's finally playable in the mid-season madness. And Kai's been a standout player, I think, to many. And maybe not a hot take. He's the best Sojourn in the league, in my opinion, at least. And the Overwatch League dropped a video but with Kai's Sojourn POV. And since you can't go into the replay viewer, I thought this was exciting. I watched the video, I learned some stuff, and I'm gonna share that with you. So strap yourselves in, and let's get to it. All right. So these teams both will run a similar comp, but the difference is the Zen and the Brig. And Dallas Field's going to play more poke oriented, and both are shield break comps that are going to progress with the Sigma. But the Rain is going to be more prominently looking for the sight lines that are shorter, so they can have the Brig and Brawl. And Dallas is going to look for the longer sight lines with this comp, so something to keep in mind. So Kai is going to go jump up here. He's going to go to the left just to see if anyone's there. And then he's going to jump up with his team, and he's going to wait here, and he's going to break shield. He's going to get charge off and look for picks. He's going to, with the rest of his team, he's going to be breaking the shield and looking just to find things to, push off of, like cooldowns and, ideally kills. And that's what Kai's going to do. So he's going to build up his railgun by shooting at the shield and shooting at the target, and he's just gonna kill Gurio. So what he's doing here, go back, he's shooting, building up his charge, and then he's able to just go to the left, and he's able to get the kill. So he has this position that's really good where he can go to the left and he can get a kill and look for shots off to get picks and damage off. And you'll see throughout the video that he's going to have little areas you can go to the right, left, or wherever you can kind of look for a cheeky kind of area or angle to shoot and get railgun shots off. And that's a big way of how he plays Sojourn, how he gets these kills a lot of the time. So something else important to note, that he's behind his Sigma, and he's playing safe because he doesn't need to take risks or anything. He's just playing with his team. He's playing safe. And the only kind of, slight level of risk he's taking is going to the left there to get the pick. So he's going to be playing with his Sigma, and, he's playing in the middle between, he's in front of his supports, but he's behind his Sigma, which is really good positioning, again, because so he can't get punished. So he's rotating with his team, and here's the first ability, or the second, actually, ability I want to talk about is Disruptor Shot. And as I talk about these different points, I want you to focus throughout the video and, figure out, okay, like, is this happening again? Is this a reoccurring thing? And I guarantee you, for the most part, it will be. And I will do my best to touch on those. So he's going to use this disruptor shot, and a good usage is to use it on a shield. Because typically Sigmas will play close to their shield, and you can force the Sigma to back off or even withdraw his shield. And that's how you can get spam off on him, and that's ultimately how these teams are going to look to win. So along with a bunch of pressure from his team, he's going to force the Dallas Field back, and then he's able to get a beautiful shot on Fielder, because Hanbin backs up, and now they're all scattered. Fielder's backing up into one place, Hanbin in the other, and he's able to get a shot off. So far he's been spamming, and he's been holding his railgun. This is really important, and I'm going to focus on this, and I feel like this is a big thing between good Sojourns and bad Sojourns, is that you really want to hold your railgun, your fully charged railgun shot, for getting kills or for bursting down, tanks that have, or targets that have larger health pools when the rest of your team's shooting at it. You don't want to be using your railgun for shields, because you may as well just be firing at it. And the railgun is really strong, especially in this state. But ideally, regardless if they nerf her, the railgun should be strong and, still should be used to go for the insta-gives like Kai is doing a lot of the time. I was about to say try, but he is doing it. And, there's no one else to shoot at, but, I mean, he gets that kill. That's unbelievable, actually. But yeah, you want to use the railgun for the insta-gives to look for picks. in the fight, and obviously go for the headshots if you can, because it's a one shot if you have close to full charge, and use it to shoot the shields. So here, now that his team has high ground, he's going to go with his team, and he has this space that he can take, and he's going to stay on high ground. And high ground's for many reasons that have been addressed in tales as old as time. High ground's better, better, he's harder to be shot at, better lay of the land, and also great disruptor shot to point out again, as he's just spamming and looking for where they're coming from. This is a the main use of disruptor shot is going to be especially for if your opponents are playing or more like a core based comp with like Sigma and Baptiste and Zen, they're going to be clumped up together, and disruptor shot is really strong because they're going to be all together, and you're able to get a bunch of ult charge off and slow down their push, and I'll point that out later with another example. So as you can see here, his team is up there, and now that they know where they are, his team of Hawk and the supports are going to drop down and they're going to brawl, but Kai stays up here, and he's also with his Baptiste, and the Baptiste is in a... Oh no, the window comes... Is the Bap up there? I think the Bap came up. I'm not sure. No, the Bap stayed. Never mind. So he has his window there. The Bap, you can stay with your Bap, and that's something that he does. And it's good to have a buddy there, so if in case someone tries to push you off the angle, then you have someone to stay safe with, and you have similar ranges of effectiveness with the BAP and the Sojourn, but you don't always have to be together. But maybe if you're duoing with a friend, it can be nice to buddy up on an angle like this sometimes. And the window, of course, is great. So his team's doing a great job, but Kai is definitely no slouch here. He's definitely putting in a lot of work. And here's something that's important, and it's not, some people may not think it's important because oh, you're getting these kills regardless, but the Alice Field could have gotten away. And usually, and I've been saying this a lot, is that he's in front of his or he's behind his Sigma, but here he pushes forward because he realizes there's a lot of kills I can get here, and they're backing up and they're low on resources, so I can jet forward and I'm able to get these kills. Disruptor shot, which is great, stop them from getting away. So when they are in a frantic state and they're trying to retreat, or it's like getting stagger kills, this is when you want to push up and you're able to get those. You're able to get ult charge. He gets like 20 to 15% off of this, and that may not matter in this situation, but if you're 50 and you get to 70, you're even closer to that overclock for the next fight. So definitely keep that in mind to push. Don't just wait on the cart. Watch your team get the kills or watch them get away. Follow up on that. Get that ult charge. So again, he's going to be starting off on the high ground, and this is where this really good disruptor shot comes in, and it's amazing and even better than before because Hanbin's already pushed out, and his team is going to be scared to push, past the disruptor shot, and they don't. And it allows Hanbin to be isolated, and he almost dies. He gets to half health, and he probably has a low shield. So this is like a picture perfect use of the disruptor shot. To have like the tank go out and then be able to disruptor shot the rest of the team because they're slowed when they go through, and they're taking a considerable amount of damage, and be able to hit the railgun shots even easier. So he's going to be on high ground here. And his team drops again, so this is something that happened in the fight before, and he's staying on high ground. And he's able to just to free fire. His team is taking a lot of the aggro, and he's just able to free fire. So here's the first overclock that we see. And, it's a bit of a funnier use because he's, he gets shot at and Gurio misses, and then he goes for it. So, and I'll mention this again whenever he uses his ultimate, but it's similar to a Genji blade, I'd say, because, and it's funny because the devs have described it as that, and I say that because it has a lot of pop-off potential where you can either, if you hit your stuff and you go in well timed, you get value, and if you don't, you don't. If you hit the shots, It's great. If you don't, you don't. So how I see Kai using this, and you'll see throughout the parts of the video that I'll play and go over, is that, it's used to, similarly to when you'd use a Genji blade, but a better way I find of looking at it, at least for me, if the Genji blade analogy works, that's great, but I find it better, to, when you think about where you are in the fight, and if you think that, if you think that the momentum is against you and they're pushing, they have like a pickup, or you've backed up and they're taking space from you, and if you think you're railgun and you're able to, if you're in a position to be able to get kills, then go for it, and that's able to swing a fight. If you're down someone, you're able to get like 2 or even 1 with your ultimate, that's great. You can swing the fight. If it's neutral, and it's somewhat neutral here, you get a kill on Chio here, the enemy Baptiste, but Dallas could come back. They have the trance up, they get flux, they have pulse. So this is a good, I'd say this is a fairly good usage of Overclock here, because if the enemy team's going for what I just described, trying to push back momentum to win the fight, but Kai's Overclock gets like 2 kills, I think, here, at least 1 immediately, and it's able to stop the momentum. And even if you think you really need to win a fight, that's gonna matter. Like you say, there's a bunch of ults going out, or there's like important ults going out, like a nano blade, and you think it's a swing fight that's gonna matter, and you're gonna learn like a bunch of fights off of that after, because the enemy team won't have ults and you will, then go for it. So to summarize what I just said, if you think that you can turn the tide of a fight with Overclock, go for it if you're in a position to do it. And if you think that the momentum of the fight could go either way, then you can use the Overclock to secure it. And if you think if you think the enemy team is going to push the momentum towards their favor when it's already in yours, then you can go to the Overclock, use the Overclock ultimate to secure that. So I'll do my best to point that out. So he's just gonna go for some great shots. This is a great VOD to watch, just because the shots he hits is unbelievable. The casters are raving about him here. So I'm gonna skip ahead a bit as he respawns. So he's going to use his power slide here, and there isn't even anyone here, and I'm taking the situation, kind of adding a what if, and say if there was someone here, right, and they were looking at him as he just power slides, it could be great to go from cover to cover because you're really fast. So if you're going from cover to cover and they're looking at you, using the power slide is great, because you're going fast and you can just avoid it. If you can't rotate with your team, or if you're caught behind as well. Obviously a lot of the games that you guys will have watching won't be as coordinated as this. So your power slide is good for just going from cover to cover, especially if people are looking at you. So he's gonna with his team. He's using the window. Here is where he fucks up with the power slide. He gets 2 kills, which is crazy. Just unreal. He goes for a flank here and realizes they're all pushed there, and I can just I have a railgun charge, and I was talking about before, first point, like he's a bunch of charge. He's looking for it. He's kind of peeking like he did on left on first to get that kill, and he went to the right, and he's just able to get 2 kills. It's unbelievable. Here he went for a bit aggressive. I mean, to be fair, it didn't matter, but this is where you want to be careful with power slide and only go forward with, like that I described on, or I showed on second point. Where was it? It was like right here. Just power slide forward to get the kills when it's safe, and they're retreating, they're not looking at him, so it's fine there. But be careful when you're power sliding, otherwise you're gonna get caught out in front of someone. And there's an example coming up, I believe, where he just saves it perfectly just to get out of dodge. But you don't want to power slide into someone in situations like those. But it doesn't matter too much. So his team's taking the aggression, and he realizes, I got a high ground I need to go to. And again, he's with his Baptiste, like I pointed out before. So he's on high ground. And he's just pelting away, he's shooting, doing the usual, going for shots when he can on squishies. And here is where he's getting pressured by Sparkle on Tracer, and he saves his power slide. He doesn't use it to go in more, or just kind of use it for fun to get widow grapple shot kind of things. He saves it to get out, and although he gets healed, he probably would have died if he just stayed there a little bit longer. So perfect usage. So you want to save your power slide for that kind of those kind of moments. And here I think he goes back up. Yeah, and now he has his ultimate. So here he realizes we can just win the round here. I'm on high ground. I'm in a power position. Here's another good usage of the disruptor shot. You see someone on their own and isolated. So another good usage is to to kind of use, like, for one target you can stop flankers, or like you could have used it on the tracer that's in front of him right now to kind of push them away from that angle. But he sees that Gurio, the enemy Sojourn, is on that angle, and he's going to disruptor shot to get him off of that angle. So even Gurio and Sojourn could disruptor shot the high ground, but it's kind of hard since the high ground's so wide here. But yeah, the disruptor shot's a great ability. It's pretty strong. It's one of the key parts of her kit, make her so good in my opinion. Obviously the one shot is important. So I'm gonna skip this round because it was just a roll. A lot of this game was one-sided. It's like neither team can defend kind of game. So this this attack is going to be shorter, and I wanted to kind of quickly go over all the points I just iterated on in the first half, and go over them because I believe this is a little bit shorter, or quite a lot shorter actually. So he does the same thing. He's going to start with his team. So here he doesn't get a pick actually. So he's just going to spam. He's going to spam the shields. He's doing the same thing. He's looking. And he realizes, we can spam the shield and use the suck, so we're going to push forward off of that. And, that's what you can do if you don't get a pick, is, just go off of that. Go off of, like the Sigma suck. Nothing, to the naked eye, or the blind eye, whatever the saying is, that's not much. But you can really push off of that stuff. So, and they're able to rush him down. He uses the shot here, like I said before, his railgun. To focus down Hanbin. He probably would have gotten out, actually, because the lamp is right there if he didn't use the right click. So this is the example of where you want to use the railgun shot to fire, to shoot tanks that everyone else is focusing. So you could even disruptor shot the Genji there in some situations, if less of your team's there, to get him out of that area, because he's above you. It can be dangerous. High ground's super important, especially on Sojourn. That's the big takeaway. If you're going to take away anything, be on high ground. Always look to be on high ground. You can take away more than that from this, I'd hope. But yeah, so he's in the same spot. Perfect disruptor shot. Well, in concept, perfect. Someone else could be there. May as well use it. It's worth noting that they have Dallasfield as a brig now, so both of them are going to look to brawl. As you can see, Hanbin going closer. So he's looking to push through. He's looking to find an opportunity. And he's just playing safe with his team, with his Baptiste again. Using that window. So he's going to push forward. Look to see if he can get anything. Power slide to get to the high ground. And here's another good usage of the power slide. So he disruptor shots there. Stops them from going in. Disruptor shots on top, or power slides rather, and he does take a bit of a risk. Actually, I thought he power slide down, but he power slide to the left, and that was okay. But power slide could have been, you could have argued that it would have been better to save it and go to and back down, but you don't entirely need it there. You can just drop. But power slide, you can save it. You want to save it for situations similar to those, like the one on third before. So he's on low ground, which is not ideal. So he's charging up. He's going to look to go to the high ground again. He's always looking to be on the high ground. But here he settles, and he just, he goes this big messy fight, and he's going to go for his ultimate. And this is what I was talking about before with when you want to use it. Both teams could win here. A lot of ults are being used, and, the overclock comes out of nowhere. A lot of resources are used, and you're, the lack of shields in the way, lack of deflect, and you're just able to push forward because you have so much damage. So here, yeah, you can just power slide wherever you want. You have your team with you. A bunch of people are dead. So he's gonna go to high ground, or he's gonna try to. Shooting, and going to high ground sometimes, like I just described, kind of mentioned before, he was looking to go to high ground on second point, but you decided, the fight's gonna happen, and I don't want to be mid rotate while there's like a massive brawl happening. So you want to look to rotate to high ground in the mid, like obviously you can rotate to high ground with your team before any fight happens, but you want to make sure that you kind of find these spots that are safe and where you can dip out of get out of dodge, rather, not dip out of dodge, get out of dodge with your power slider, just by dipping around a corner if you can't rotate to high ground, because the fight's about to get to its climax. So think about, can I rotate? Is it safe to rotate here? Which Kai is, again, great job at surprise. So just kind of messy fight. They push it, kind of stally. All right, so this has been attack, and I'll end off the video by going over this first point, because the rest is just kind of overtime-esque fights. But this is where you can actually get some defensive Sojourn play. So he's shooting from here. He's really safe with his team. He's just charging, and he has the option to go to the right. I think directly to his right, out the door there, to go for a shot. But he can also just look to spam. And great disruptor shot again. And look, he's looking for it. I'm not sure if he gets the kill here. He tries to. He almost does. But he also backs up, which is really good, because Sojourn doesn't have like a melee weapon, and you may get caught up with your team, but sometimes it is better to back up. Especially because that's a big thing on defense. You have the ability to back up, and there are better positions. Like blue box here is a great spot, and he's able to cover more ground on defense and play safe as well, because he has the cover. Make sure you always have cover. That's another point. That's just a point for any hero. It's a kill on Sparkle. Disruptor shot, perfect again. I don't think he's ever messed up one, on purpose. So far, he's always had the right idea behind it and executed. So again, he's gonna look for shots here. He's pushed up really far as they're respawning. So he's above them. Perfect. Again, I can't stress enough how good these disruptor shots are and how important they are. So he looked for the other, the left, looked to shoot down Gurio, get him off. He's in a strong position, good angle. So from here, I think it just snowballs. I think it just snowballs from here. So actually, we'll end it with this disruptor, or this overclock. So again, fight's about to end. He's in a good spot. They do end up winning the map, but it's a lot of stall stuff. Just watch the end. He goes for a great flank. Something like he's playing very safe, but if you find the chaos in the middle of fights, and this is much more doable in lower tier games. Anything lower than this is like there's nothing higher than this type of gameplay. So you can go for a lot of flanks if you have the power slide. If you go for flanks, make sure you walk for them and you use your power slide and you have it to get out. So he just goes for the flank. You can capitalize on the chaos. This team just closes it out. So to recap, you wanna stay with your team all of the time. And before I say this, like if you're watching this and you do a lot of scrim stuff and you're a Sojourn player, a lot more of this is going to apply. But if you're in more of a solo queue kind of environment, take away a lot of the ability usage stuff. A lot of the positioning stuff, you want to take looser concepts of it, because obviously who knows what your tanks are doing, you can't control them. But in scrims, you can take a lot more of the how he's playing with his team, and how you can tell Sigma, I want you to do this, and you can take away more of that. But if you're, more of a solo queue kind of comp or quick play player, take away a lot of the ability usage stuff. That's really, really important, and the positioning as well. A lot of the team structure stuff, it doesn't matter too much, but it matters if you are doing the scrim. So you're gonna want to be playing behind your tank, usually, or following up with your tank. Here was a Sigma, but you want to follow up with, Winston leaps or Doomfist dives or Wrecking Ball slams. You want to follow up with that. Capitalize off of that. Use the disruptor shots on those. Disruptor shots. Good for splitting off chokes and pushes and using on enemies when they're all clumped up, or just using it to section off an angle that a solo enemy is using. Use high ground. That's super, super important. Push up for momentum. When you have momentum, push up for kills. Save your power slide for when to get out of dodge, and use it for getting across gaps of sight lines to get from one cover to another. For when you're kind of the general loop of gameplay of Sojourn is charge your shots, and don't use your railgun just willy-nilly. Use it with a purpose. Use it to look for a kill or a shot, or use it to burst down a target your team's focusing. And with Overclock your ultimate, use it with the with the purpose of can I turn the fight in my favor. When it's a no ones, can I secure a fight that needs to be securing that might be turned, or can I flip a fight back out of nowhere if I have a really good or seemingly out of nowhere if I have a good position and I'm set up really well. And also find a Baptiste kind of partner, or an Ana, another comp to sit with at times if you're both in a good position. So hopefully you guys find that helpful. If you did, please let me know. Be sure to let me know what I can do better in the comments. Leave a like, all that jazz. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, hopefully I'll be back for more. Hopefully the Overwatch League does more of these. These are really helpful for me to do perspective stuff. Makes me more excited than looking at just YouTube kind of videos of matches. But yeah, see you guys hopefully soon. And enjoy the beta.